Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be getting into Final Destination, Bloodlines. We've got a recent review here, and we want to unpack some of the key bits, the surprising stuff this new horror film is bringing. And just as a quick refresher for anyone, the whole Final Destination idea, it's pretty unsettling, right? You have these people who escape death because someone has a premonition, but then fate, or death, whatever you want to call it, it just comes for them relentlessly through these elaborate, crazy accidents.
Yeah, these Rube Goldberg machines of death.
Exactly. It really drives home that feeling of, maybe nowhere's actually safe.
Right. And what's really interesting looking at the source material is how it points out that Bloodlines isn't just giving us more of that same classic formula, that anxiety. It's actually adding some pretty compelling new lore into the mix. The review we're drawing from, it really breaks down what makes this one feel a bit different and maybe why it seemed to connect so well with people. It's more than just going back to the well, so to speak.
Okay, yeah, let's get into that. So, Bloodlines, it follows a college student, Lily. She just manages to avoid this big building collapse. Standard setup so far.
Pretty standard, yeah.
But then, her friends start dying in these bizarre freak accidents, and she figures out, okay, I'm next. But here's where it gets interesting, like you said, the new lore. It turns out Lily's family has this, history with the curse. Her grandfather survived something huge decades ago.
A major accident.
And now it seems like death is circling back, but for the whole family line.
Yeah, and if you think about that in terms of the whole franchise, adding that generational element, it gives the film a much deeper kind of emotional weight, doesn't it? It's not just random strangers anymore. It's this inherited burden, this, family fate.
Right.
And the movie apparently does a really good job blending those signature, kind of over the top, kills the chain reactions we expect with this newer, deeper story. It hints maybe there's a bigger picture, maybe even an older connection to Death's plan than just these one-off accidents.
And that focus on a deeper kind of dread, it definitely carries over into the kills themselves. They're just as inventive and frankly anxiety-inducing as ever. That gym scene they mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I was on the edge of my seat. Something awful is about to happen, but the way they film it, it makes you, the viewer, just hyper aware of everything. You find yourself scanning the background, looking for what's going to go wrong next. Honestly, after watching something like that, I spent the next week side-eyeing the weight machines at my own gym. Did you get that feeling?
Totally. It's a classic horror trick, right?
Awesome.
Making it mundane, terrifying. And it's worth mentioning, the review specifically called out Keira Monroe's performance as Lily. Said she was amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she managed to be both strong and vulnerable, really sold the fear, but also the determination. She kind of grounds all that paranoia you were talking about.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And okay, for the longtime fans out there, apparently the film is loaded with Easter eggs.
Lots of nods.
Yeah, but not just quick references. They mention subtle visual things, story connections, maybe seeing an object from a past film, or even a character returning from Final Destination 2. Stuff that really deepens the whole series mythology.
Right, rewarding the viewers who've stuck with it.
But then there's the twist ending. Now, we won't spoil it here, obviously. But apparently it completely changes how you understand the timeline of the entire series. Makes you rethink, everything you thought you knew about Death's grand design.
It sounds incredibly clever, yeah. And maybe surprisingly emotional, too. It's kind of a strong reminder that, even in a genre that's often about the visceral scares, a good story, a good narrative can make everything hit harder. It resonates more.
Yeah.
It seems like the film didn't just coast on the gory set pieces. It actually committed to the story and the characters.
So summing it up then, it sounds like Final Destination. Bloodlines really managed to pull off a tricky balance. It brought back those classic thrills, the suspense sequences we love.
The nail-biting stuff.
Like that gym scene we talked about, but mixed it with a genuinely fresh story and threw in those clever Easter eggs for the fans. And the reviews reflected that, right? Hovering around, 7.5, 8 out of 10. Pretty strong.
Definitely strong for the genre. And yeah, thinking bigger picture about the whole Final Destination series, that twist ending isn't just a shock for shock's sake. It actually, like you said, reframes the entire series timeline. It kind of proves that even when your main antagonist is, an unstoppable force like death, storytelling still really, really matters. It adds layers.
Absolutely. It makes you think, doesn't it? If death really hates being cheated and its design always comes back around so meticulously, what does that say about our own ideas of control versus, fate? kind of makes you wonder, what invisible threads might be pulling the strings in our own lives. You might find yourself being a little bit more careful now, maybe double checking that toaster wiring before you use it.